Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hello, I'm Billy Coppin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, good morning, Huntsville.
Hello, welcome in. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, Kay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kay's here with us. Isaiah's here with. This is like a new crew. Rick's not here this morning. This is the first time that we've all been on, besides the initial. No, I think even the first time you were on, Isaiah, Rick. I think it was just you and I.
It was just me. Yeah.
This is the first time that all together, minus Rick. So I guess it's not really all together.
Yeah.
Right.
Dream team. The full dream team isn't here.
That's okay. You can still win a championship with 3.
Yeah. It's been done before.
It's not easy. So, hey, well, we do want to welcome you in. Thanks for being with us on another episode of Good Morning Huntsville, episode number 536. Thank you all. Yesterday, we had a lot of interaction on the show yesterday. Looking forward to more of that today. And as we do get rolling, please do us a huge favor and like and share this broadcast. Every time you do that, it helps reach so many people. So thank you for that. And thank you for commenting in. Let us know that you're out there this morning, as always, and what you are thankful for. Yesterday, we had folks telling us what they wanted to see in Huntsville, and people were mentioning taco places and entertainment places. So it was a fun show. I said Kohl's yesterday. I just want us to have a Kohl's, and I'd be okay. So,
What's your attachment to Kohl's?
Clothes, like cheap jeans and stuff. Even though I go or cheap like these, but I've been going to Costco for these, Kay, so it works out pretty good. But hey, as we do get rolling, big thank you as always to Elliott's Jewelers, Elliott Herzlich. He's online at elliottjewelers.com. And of course, here on this very wonderful Wednesday. It's the only day of the week that's wonderful, by the way. Wonderful Wednesday with our friends at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. Joining us today, Isaiah Berry, and of course, Miss Kay Boning. Good to see you, Kay.
Thank you.
Isaiah,
Good
what's
to
going
be
on?
back.
What's going on in your world, man?
Oh, man, living the dream, really. Just working and working out. Those are the two things right now.
Working and working out.
Yeah.
Where are you working out at?
Home.
We went over to Snap Fitness yesterday. We were with ambassadors, Kay, and we get to go see Miss Jeannie over there, but she wasn't there. Young man by the name of Mark was there yesterday, and that place was hopping. There were people in there all over the place. I mean, and they were moving around, and I guess that's what you do when you work out, right? You're supposed to be moving around. Where did y'all go yesterday, Kay?
Well, I have a funny.
Okay.
So Dee Dee Gretke, we were in Amarillo on Saturday, Rick and I, and the family, grandchild and stuff, and we went to Texas Roadhouse. And as we were leaving, we were standing outside, and I saw this woman walk out, and she walked back in. I was like, that looks like Dee Dee. And then she came back out a few minutes later. What, Kay? So we ran into Dee Dee in Amarillo at 4 p.m. on a Saturday at Texas Roadhouse.
Wow.
And she was coming back from Colorado, and both of us happened to choose that restaurant. Well, that was one of our stops yesterday, and she wasn't in the office.
Oh, well, you got to see her You got to see her over the weekend.
I called her, and I was joking with her, and I said, it's funny, I can run into you and find you in Amarillo, Texas, but I can't find you in Huntsville. So
Can't find you around. What does she? I know that name. What does she do again here?
she's real estate.
Real estate. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, the ambassadors program is so much fun because you get to go out and you get to meet different businesses and just thank them for their business. We went also to the Ranch Apartments that are over there behind kind of Walmart, Bahama Bucks, that little shopping center. Mm-hmm. And I'd never been over there. I guess they opened those in 2022, and that was about the time that we had left for a year. And those were some nice apartments. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of nice places in Huntsville to live now, but I was like, man, I wish I would have known about these the first time I was here. Not that the place I lived was bad, but those were pretty nice. And she said, well, the students are always overflowing over here. And I think that's typical with all the apartments here in Huntsville. You're still looking to get over here, right? Isaiah, are you still looking around? Are you here now?
Yeah,
You're
here now permanently and for good, hopefully.
Oh, okay, all right. So all the way from – no more Buc-ee stops on the way to work, right?
No, I still I'll go out of my way to get to a good Buc-ee's. I can't miss the breakfast sandwiches.
Well, that's good.
If it means a reverse commute there and back, we'll still make it happen.
Kay, I don't know if y'all ever go like 45. When y'all go to Amarillo, do y'all go up 45 or what way do you? And then you cut off at Dallas, or how does that work?
45 to 287.
And then you cut across and then go up that way. Well, I'm sitting there thinking every time I I always stop at that Buc-ee's, but now. I don't know what it is. Buc-ee's is always slammed, and it doesn't matter if it's 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. That place is overrunning with people, and you have to walk like this in there. So,
no matter what you're doing, a Buc-ee's stop is necessary. If you're on a road trip, a Buc-ee's stop is okay. If you're going hunting with your pals, maybe you got to stop, get some ice for the ice chest. Cheapest ice around is at Buc-ee's. Best gas to go somewhere, it's at Buc-ee's. I think we need to take Buc-ee's and replace every other gas station. I'd be okay with that. Just
with the amount of people?
Yeah.
You'd be okay with Kay, what is your thought? Would you be okay with that?
More Buc-ee's would mean less people per Buc-ee's.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
May mean higher price. They're already pretty pricey, though. We bought some bathing suits for the children. I said I'd never say that. I get annoyed with Bridget. I love you, sweetheart, but they're not bathing suits. You don't bathe in them anymore. Swimsuits. And see, she's got me saying it now. From the moment that Bridget and I started dating, she always said, oh, do you have your bathing suit? I said, do you know why they call it bathing suit, Bridget? She goes, yeah, because you swim in it. Exactly. It's called a swimsuit.
Wait, you may have just put me on to some new information there. Did people used to bathe in swimsuits? Is that a real thing?
That's why they called them bathing suits, because people would bathe publicly, and they would put on, they didn't want to be in the nude, obviously, so they put on bathing suits, and that's what they bathed in.
Did
you know this, Kay?
That's a full circle moment for me.
We studied this. This is one of those little, when you're studying things in high school, like history or whatever, and you think, this is pointless. It's not, because here it is, 25 years later, it came back, and I remembered the teacher teaching us that.
Yeah, the big 25.
Kind of the whole purpose of bathing is to clean areas that the
need to be
bathing
bathed.
suit covers. So
this is true.
Yeah, I think that's why
counterproductive.
I think that's why they figured that out and said maybe they're not. But do you call it swimsuit or bathing suit?
I do both.
Both of them.
I was gonna say I've never thought about it, but now I think I just say both. I think for a male, you just say like swimming trunks, So naturally, you just say swimsuit.
No, males usually say trunks.
Yeah, so I guess that's more or less what I say. But yeah, bathing suit is such a natural term.
Yeah, it's just, and I've always been not upset about it, but like annoyed by it. It's one of those pet peeves of mine. And then I just said it, Kay. So thank you, sweetheart. It's rubbed off on me. So
I'm going to be conscious about saying that now.
well, I mentioned that because
Well, you get away from it if you could just say bikini, but there are some people that probably shouldn't be wearing bikinis.
Yeah, I tried, and it's not a good look. I wanted to mention, the reason I mentioned all of this because at Buc-ee's we had bought the children swimsuits there, and we got to use them finally at the beach this past weekend. We found this little hole in the wall called El Jardín Beach. It's in right outside of Pasadena.
Okay.
So there's like the shipping port is there. The port of Houston is back over the other way, outside of La Porte. But this was another little port, and I forget the official town name, but I'll just say Pasadena because it's where it basically is. The only thing is it's $10 a person to get in. 4 and under are free. But it's a very nice beach, and the scenery on this, Kay, it's only an hour and 40 minutes away, too, so you're not having to drive all the way down to the coast. And the scenery when you get out there is just absolutely beautiful. A lot of times when you go to these I guess, port cities or bay cities, and you're going to the beach where the bay is, you've got big boats going by. You've got your carriers that have all the container ships and all that. So you're looking out and you're like, well, it's cool to be in the water, but this isn't that nice because the scenery behind it is, it's all industrial, right? Out here is beautiful. They had a sailboat thing going on. And so all of a sudden, as we were there throughout the day, we started noticing more and more sailboats popping up on the horizon. By the time we left, there's probably 50 or 60 sailboats just hanging out along the horizon. It was a really beautiful day. We had decided to go to La Porte because somebody said, oh, there's a beach over there that's free and it's really nice and they've got a place to sit. We drove by that, Kay, and it reminded me of Buc-ee's. There was just people everywhere. The only thing they were missing was the gas pumps and those breakfast sandwiches you were talking about.
There you go. Yeah.
And I told Bridget, I said, I'm not even going to stop because I just felt the stress of all the people that were there. And I said, in my mind, I was like, please, Lord, let that other beach be really close because I didn't know how close it was. And I put it into Google. It was 9 minutes away. So we just darted back over across the other side, and we were there. But I bring all this up, too, because I want to ask you as the audience, summer's here. Maybe some of you are going on road trips or you have family that lives in other states like Oklahoma or somewhere. Where is your preferred stop along the way? Where do you like to stop at? Is it some people say Cracker Barrel? They like to stop at a good Cracker Barrel and have breakfast if they get up early enough or they have lunch. Kay, when you guys head to going up to Oklahoma or wherever, where do y'all typically? Is there a stop? Is there always a stopping point that y'all always have, or is it just kind of random?
Well, we've started stopping at Catfish O'Harley's.
Sounds good.
That's
I got to
on
add that to my list.
287. And when we drove out on Friday, it wasn't open. We weren't going to hang around for it to open. I don't remember where we ate. It was Brahms. The other one is Brahms because there's not a Brahms here.
Love a good Brahms.
Those are two places that
y'all's go to.
Now, before we got Chick-fil-A here, Chick-fil-A was always on the list.
What is it? The catfish? You said it's called Catfish
Catfish O'Harley's.
What town or where is that at? You said off of? Is it? It's here in Texas still, obviously.
Yes, it's a little bit further than Fort Worth, I think.
Okay. Catfish O'Harley.
Yeah.
All right, Catfish O'Harley's. If the algorithm's picking us up because it's always listening, send us a $250 check. We'll make sure Kay gets 200 of that. So Catfish O'Harley's. There you go.
But we on the way back, usually when we leave Amarillo and we get to Catfish O'Harley's, it opens at 11, and it was 12:30 Monday when we hit it because we had ate breakfast there with the family before we left.
If y'all are traveling, are you early risers, like get on the road and get out early? Or
yes.
See, we try to be, and then it ends up being later in the afternoon, sometimes night before we get out, and it's horrible.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
you got to adopt the I-10 by 10 mantra.
Well, when it was just Bridget and I, we were out the door and ready to roll. But now it's like, oh, wait a minute. Now we didn't get out of here by noon, so now it's time for the kids' nap. So they got to go. Now they got to nap because they won't sleep the whole way. They won't nap if they take a 2-hour nap or 3-hour nap. They won't take a 3-hour nap in a vehicle. It's only like an hour. So we're like, well, just let them nap and then we'll leave when they get up.
Yeah, teach them how to play I Spy. You spy enough random colored cars on the road, you'll take a good nap.
Yeah, you get sick and tired of it after a while.
But this was the time before iPads in the car. we would just have to look out and make our own games and entertainment in the car.
Hey, well, Kay will
We had a game that involved horses, cows, and cemeteries. And
Where'd that mix come from?
well, my brother would take one side of the car, and I got one side of the car. And, you'd see so many cattle, and we'd get in arguments as to whether it was 50 cows or 100 cows or whatever. So Dad would have to solve the argument as to how many cows was in that pasture. And whether it was a cow or a sagebrush way off in the distance. And then a horse was worth 5 points, and a white horse was worth 10 points.
Did you ever see the white horse?
Occasionally you'd see a white horse. And there was discussion as to whether it had to be a pure white horse or, if that little brown spot mattered or not, kind of. It made for some entertaining discussions between my brother and I, and Dad playing referee.
I could see you get a couple hours out of a road trip with that.
And then, and you pay attention to the scenery too, know. And so if you passed the cemetery, you wiped out all your points.
Oh.
And so we would go to Grandma and Grandpa's an awful lot, which was an hour and a half away. And my brother would pick one side, and, I'd pick the other side. And I'd get mad because he'd win, because we'd pass the cemetery. And then he'd say, oh, well, on the way back, you can have that side.
Because what was the same?
On the way back, that side had the cemetery.
So if the cemetery was on your side, your points got wiped out.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And so
he was smart.
Well, he was 5.5 years older than me.
Very smart.
And so he would always fix it so that if he knew the road, because we drove to Colorado a lot and things like that. If he knew the road, he knew which side the cemetery was on, and so he would usually win. And we played license plates.
Those were fun. We did that.
A little board where we marked different license plates we saw from different states and stuff.
I mentioned a few months ago on this show, and I forget who it was with, we were talking about something very similar, like going on a trip, and we used to count on I-30. We would stay on I-35 from Georgetown all the way to Pearsall. That was south of San Antonio, 168 miles. You're on the interstate, because that was where my grandparents lived. It's about almost a 3-hour drive. But we would play a game called Count the 18-Wheelers. Growing up, there was hardly any. And I remember the most that we counted when we were kids was probably like 30 or something. Now there's 30 every mile.
Yeah.
And I guess that just goes to show you how much shipping is going on and those kind of things. But it made me just start. I was thinking about this the other day too, Kay. Back then, how was everything getting? Was it more on rail? Obviously they were still shipping things in trucks, but you see so many 18-wheelers now on the highway. You used to never see that many.
Dad ran a trucking company, and we ran at night.
Maybe that was it. Maybe most of them were rolling at night back then.
We always ran at night because there was less traffic and less obstacles, and those four-wheel cars were a nightmare to drive around and stuff. And then most of our territory was rural, and so it wasn't a lot of interstate and everything. So driving on those 2-lane roads at night was a lot better than trying to do it in a day. And back then the speed limit was 55 too, everywhere.
Well, I learned through having a CB radio to respect truck drivers. A lot of people will yell and scream because you hear things in the news. And, we just had a really terrible accident this past weekend on 45 right there across from Walmart area. And, and that ended up being the 18-wheelers' fault. But a lot of times it's not. It's these, and the guys in the 18-wheelers always call them, oh, there come them four-wheelers, watch out. They'd call them four-wheelers. And I remember from having that CB radio and listening to those guys, and I was probably 8, 9 years old. And I remember my dad was saying, don't listen to everything them guys are saying, son. 'Cause, they'd get on there. There was a lot of fun. It wasn't just guys. There was ladies on there, too. It was cool. But I enjoyed that. And I remember sitting, because we lived maybe like half a mile from the interstate. So I hooked up our CB radio. We always had batteries laying around, and I hooked up that CB radio just to a battery. And I'd go out there and sit outside and turn that thing on, just listen on it. And I learned a lot about, how they would say, what's your 20 and all. And I know Rick and I joke on the show about it, but that's where I learned a lot of that.
Yeah.
We didn't have the internet where I can go on there and Google what all that stuff meant. And just listening to those guys, I learned how dangerous people are driving when they weave in and out of these trucks. And Kay, you know this because your dad was in the business. You rode with him. Those trucks can't stop right away.
No, they can't. If they got a load, they cannot stop.
And you think about that with the train. Well, think of it. Obviously, a train's going to take a lot longer than an 18-wheeler, but it's the same concept. When you got a loaded truck, that weight it doesn't just stop. It's got to go somewhere, and it's got the force behind it that's already going.
And it's
Anytime there was a wreck involving one of our trucks, Dad would take my brother and I out and show us the truck and the car. And that car never won. The truck might have a little bit of damage on it, and the car would be crunched, nothing left, kind of thing. And, he took us out to the wrecks to make sure we had an impression in our minds that you don't win when you're involved with an 18-wheeler. So give them wide berth and get around them and stay away from them.
Does your dad have any, like the trucks? Did he lease the trailers, or did he have the trucks or the whole shebang?
We own trucks and trailers and bobtails. And
did he have the sleeper? Like, did y'all ever get to go and? So was it just quick? Was it trips where you go and come back, or did y'all have to stay the night at places?
All of our routes went to a place and back that night. So everything was. We had terminals in several major cities, but like we had terminal in Oklahoma City, Dallas, Amarillo, Woodward. And so we would take stuff that might go from Oklahoma City to Amarillo. I'm not sure if there was a route that went that way or not. But anyway, we went up into Hays, Kansas and stuff too, in Wichita. So if it was going from Amarillo to Wichita, it might go to Amarillo to Woodward, switch trucks, and go from Woodward to Wichita.
Oh, cool. And so you got to go on a lot of those runs.
I did not get to go on runs at night.
You didn't get to go on any, huh?
My dad did relief driving whenever somebody was on vacation or they're sick or something like that. But he did the accounting work for the company most of the time.
Gotcha.
And then I got to ride in a truck a few times, and I wanted to work the dock at night. My brother got to work the dock at night and move the freight and stuff, and I wanted to do that because, I was into working out and lifting weights and stuff, and he's like, nope. And I got to do the office work, and I never, for the longest time I didn't understand. And then, after a while, it was kind of like, oh, they talk a different language and they act a different way, and my dad didn't want me around boys being boys.
Yeah. Kind of like my dad didn't want me listening on the CB radio. Maybe the same concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like I never heard my dad really cuss. And my brother's like, oh, no, he knows all of those words and knows how to use them.
Well, I know I've asked you before, Kay, the child care business, obviously, with Tomorrow's Promise. But do you think a lot of just what your dad did growing up, did that kind of instill an entrepreneurial spirit in you? Would you say maybe that was kind of the start of some of it?
I don't know. I mean, I first started babysitting, and I cleaned houses, and I mowed some lawns, and I worked for other people, and I worked for other childcare centers. It just kind of fell into my lap, I think. It's not something I set out to do at all. It wasn't something I dreamed of doing.
But all those little things added up,
Oh, there's all kinds of things that, I sold over 400 Girl Scout cookies with my little red wagon dragging along with cookies in the back.
And back then it was an actual legit metal red wagon. We're not talking the plastic ones anymore.
The boxes they were bigger than what they are now, and they sold for $1.
Yeah, I was about to say they were probably not like $4.50 or whatever they are now.
And I went around to houses and knocked on doors and sold the cookies. And I did things. I raised money for the Oklahoma Lung Association because my dad smoked and I wanted him to quit. And I won an award for I won the Oklahoma Youth Award and got to go to a banquet. And I don't really remember too much about the banquet and get an award, go on stage and stuff. But about the biggest thing I remember from it was Dad couldn't smoke the whole time.
You were happy about that. You're like, yes.
I got him.
So some of the things that I did as a child, like going and selling cookies and going and asking for money to sponsor me for a walkathon, which was how I raised money for the Oklahoma Lung Association. I'd get 25 cents a mile or $1. Usually 5 to 10 cents a mile, so I was getting $20 or $2 to walk all these miles. But I went around and hit that many people. I had like 3 people that gave me $1 a mile, and I was like, yeah,
I'm walking 50.
And so I went and walked 20 miles. Then I had to go back around and collect it.
Yeah, that's great.
And so I walked a whole lot more miles and rode my bicycle a whole lot more than I walked that 20 miles to get it.
Well, the reason I wanted to ask you, maybe it's some inspiration for somebody this morning, that I want to remind people that where you're at now doesn't mean it's always where you're going to be, but it's all going to help lead to somewhere else. And on Sirius XM, it's really neat. If you tick back one notch, Billy Graham's there on 460. And I hit it by accident probably 6 months ago, and now it's just glued to it. And I love listening to all of his sermons. And it's funny because you can tell the ones that were back in the 60s and 70s and then the ones that were later on in his life. His voice, the inflection was the same, but the tone had changed as he aged. And so as soon as I hear it, I'm like, that one was from the 90s, or that one was from the 60s. There was one that was playing, Kay, and this ties in perfectly, and it tied into kind of my career when I was thinking about things. And it says sometimes, and he said this, and I can't remember things very easy. So whenever I did remember this, and as soon as I pulled into the parking lot here at church the other morning, I had to type this because I didn't want to forget it. And he said this. He said, sometimes what inspires you isn't what you end up doing. It's about finding your purpose. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that because we're all inspired by something. There's something that's inspired us, and then we think that that's going to be what we're going to do the rest of our life. And we don't realize that inspiration will sometimes, and more than likely not, ultimately lead to your purpose. And so, here you are pulling around if you got the plastic little red wagon, that's not the official one. My grandmother used to, like the Tonka trucks, and my mom still to this day, them Tonka trucks are garbage. They used to be metal when y'all were kids. And she still has them. She still has our metal Tonka trucks.
Man.
But my grandmother used to say, all of these things, and my mom, and just like your story, pulling around this little red wagon and going out and collecting money and walking miles for lung health awareness, that all led to something. There was some inspiration behind that, and it's led to everything. You fast forward years later, and here you are now. And that's true for anybody. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I always compare it to, and most people have probably heard me say this before if you talk to me about anything, but I always compare it back to like the Mike Leach story. He's just my favorite college football coach. And up until the time he was like 36, he was a lawyer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a lawyer, and he would. So let's just say like if that camera, God forbid it blew up or something like that, and someone got hurt. Well, he would, sue the insurance company for that camera, or sue that camera company on behalf of the person that got hurt. And that's what he did until he was, most people think by 36 you're locked into whatever career that you've started.
Most of the time you're already coaching for years at 36.
Yeah, and at 36 he decided he wanted to go be a coach. And imagine being a 36-year-old graduate assistant, and having to go through the channels of being a beginner level or an entry level coach, and you've been a successful lawyer for probably 10 years at that point of his life. Mm-hmm. And changed that, and now he's he passed away, but he was a Hall of Fame football coach, and he was almost 40 by the time he started that endeavor in his life. So it really doesn't, you can start at whatever age doing anything and end up successful. It's all going to lead somewhere at some point.
We have a guest joining us this morning. They know exactly what you're talking about. They said, mine too, guns up. So must be a fellow Tech fan.
Yeah,
Texas Tech fan.
That's my type of people.
There you go. That's Jamie over at Osprey Storage, by the way. So that's pretty cool. Well, hey, let's take a brief break. When we come back, let's go with Kay's Wednesday Wisdom when we come back. We do have the Rick's Top 10 today. It is National
Catfish Day.
So, and that ties into what you were talking about earlier, Kay. But
I didn't know.
Yeah, see, it's everything ultimately,
it's all for a reason.
It's all for a reason. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have Kay's Wednesday Wisdom. She's got some important topics that she wants to talk about today, so we'll do that. Do us a favor and continue liking and sharing. Many of you are already commenting in this morning, so thank y'all for joining us. If you're watching, many of you do too, on my personal Facebook feed. I don't see those comments or the viewer count because Facebook has changed their algorithm yet again. But if you are on that feed also, and I do see comments on there, and several of you are watching right now through that, like Brian Smith, Phyllis Dillard, my sister joining us this morning too, and many others. So thank y'all for being with us. We'll take a break. And check this out, Kay. I'm not doing, just for you today, I'm not doing Cafe Texan. Not today, because y'all always say, why do you have to do it on our day? But right up there with them, Cat Cafe. Elizabeth Flora has hooked us up with a bunch of these, and we've had many people win these over the last week or two. So there you go. Hey, you win Cat Cafe today. So there you go. So Cat Cafe is what we're giving away today. $20 over to Cat Cafe, supporting local business in Elizabeth Flora. And all that you have to do, okay, the key word is
Heat.
Heat, because it's getting
Which
hot.
relates to something I'm going to talk about.
Is it like heat, like getting heated?
No.
No, none of that kind of heated.
It's probably about the heat you're talking about.
Isaiah got disappointed. He's like, man, I wanted to talk about that kind of heat.
I wanted to talk about getting heated today.
Well, you can text in the keyword heat along with your name. That number is 936-339-0139. Again, 936-339-0139. We'll take a brief break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. It is your show, as always, brought to you by Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools here on a very, very wonderful Wednesday. We'll be right back. Stay with us, please.
At Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, we're not just a place where children pass the time. We're not a daycare. We're a child care center focused on growth, learning, and discovery. Every day, children engage in meaningful activities that build confidence, independence, and a love for learning. From reading and math to social and practical life skills, our students are active participants in their development. Ready to give your child something more? Visit tomorrowspromise.info and discover what makes our school different. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. Education you can trust.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and our business is helping you take care of your business. In addition to personal accounts, Walker County Federal Credit Union also offers business accounts and business lending for commercial customers. We're devoted to taking care of the needs of our individual members and helping our business members with their financial success too. Call us today and find out how easy it is to work with Walker County Federal Credit Union. Member NCUA.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope. This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas. The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, and you're listening to Spirit Radio.
Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
All right, friends, welcome back at it as we continue on here. Another episode of Good Morning Huntsville, as always, brought to you by our friends at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. 3 locations in Huntsville to serve your children. And hey, serve you. It's helping you out. If you've got to work and you need a place that not only your children are just going to go, but they're going to learn, and they're going to learn tremendously. The Montessori method, I believe, because I've experienced it firsthand, is the best way for your children to learn. There's nobody else anywhere in this area offering the type and the quality of education that you'll receive at Tomorrow's Promise. You can find out more information online at tomorrowspromise.info. Again, it's tomorrowspromise.info. I love being able to take my children because you know what? They get fed breakfast, they get fed lunch. Their bellies are full when I pick them up, and they're ready. By the time we get home, they're ready for dinner. But you guys, Kay,
Well, they get an
do such a
afternoon
great
snack,
job.
too.
They get the whole 9.
Yeah.
So 73 this morning as you're waking up. A little bit cooler today. How about that 100% Huntsville humidity? It's thick outside today. 87, a 60% chance of thunderstorms likely a little bit later this afternoon. That'll linger on overnight. We'll hit 73 for the low and then back up to 89 and a 30% chance of rain tomorrow. Things will clear up, though, on Friday and Saturday. Mostly sunny highs in the low 90s before rain comes back into the forecast a little bit earlier next week. We are back here with Kay Boning, Isaiah Berry, Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools on a wonderful Wednesday. And it's time for one of my favorite segments. It's actually, no offense to Rick, but it's more favorite to me than the Rick's Top 10. It's time. It's right there. Rick's right under that.
Well, we did it. We've been doing it forever,
But
since we started.
But it's time for K's. I don't have like an official. Why don't you announce it? It's time for Oh, whoa.
Was I cut off?
Here we go, yes.
Time for Kay's Wednesday Wisdom.
Thank you, Isaiah.
What? No, I'm sorry.
Kay's like, all right then. All right, Kay, what do you have for us today? Kay's Wednesday Wisdom.
Okay. So there are times when you take your child to school, to academy, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's times Bridget takes them to academy. What steps do you do to make sure that when it's your turn, you don't forget them and leave them in the car and go into work?
I don't know. It's you've taught me this, and I got to be mindful of it. And I talked about it on the show the other day about how your brain gets into.
And I know you're real good at that.
Yeah, your brain gets into how did you call it?
It's automatic.
Yeah.
Autopilot.
Autopilot's what
yeah.
you said. Yeah. That's one thing for me that I'm just so mindful of my children because I'm always interacting with them. So I know that they're with me. I always interact. And when I get out of the vehicle, I'm always looking in the back seat to see if I left anything. It's just, that is something. And I'm glad that's an automatic feature of my brain that I'm always looking in the back and I'm always making sure that there has been times where I've been driving and I'm like, oh, Braylon's not with me because she normally is with me, or Caden. So it's kind of reversed for me. I guess that's a good thing.
Well, I just read this morning, it was in the news, a reminder about children being left in cars. And, the routine is disrupted in some way. Dad's normally taking them, and then Mom takes them one day. The car's broke down. Mom takes Dad and the children to childcare, and they just go on autopilot and they go straight to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so get in a habit, and this goes for grandparents, this goes for anybody that's transporting children. Get in the habit of either putting like your shoe in the back seat or your phone, something that you are going to make sure that you have when you walk out of your car to go into the next building, that you know you will have on you. And you'll notice your shoes missing or your purse or something, or put a stuffed animal in the front seat when you have a child in the car with you. Do something to make sure that you know that you have a child in your car with you and that you are checking. Because you get on autopilot and then 8 hours later you find a dead child.
Yeah.
And it has happened to police officers, it's happened to firefighters, it's happened to EMS, it's happened to lawyers, it's happened to doctors, it's happened to everybody in every walk, teachers, every walk of life it's happened to. And there's average, I think it was 38 children a year that die in cars. Gosh. And it is a horrible, horrible death.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is make sure you're locking your car. You know, the police will tell you lock your cars and everything because, you know, people will just get in and rummage through your ashtray to get the change or this or that. But children like to go and play. And a car, if they open the car door, they get in there, they get to playing, they get hot, they get tired, they lay down, go to sleep, and you might go out and find somebody that isn't your child in your car. And that happened to me one time. I thought I had locked my car. And I mean, I have been in the habit of locking my car since I first started driving. And one day I forgot, and I walked out and I found a child in my car.
Goodness.
Man, and you know, even more than that, like I've found myself at the wrong car and that car was unlocked. And now thankfully I'm not a crazy person. So like nothing happened, but I used to drive a Ford Explorer. Well, I still drive a Ford Explorer, but the SUV version.
You got the truck version.
Yeah, I got to switch from the SUV to the truck. But I used to drive an SUV, and there was a car I'd parked somewhere. Exact same vehicle as mine, exact same color, same front grille, everything. And I was in the habit of just walking up to my car, and I opened the door like normal and like sat down, and I kind of this is what made me realize like this was not my car, because I try to keep my car clean unless I'm just going through a rut. And I looked around and I went, man, my car's kind of dirty now. I got to clean it. And then I realized this isn't my car. But I thought about, you know how so many people will like go into the store and they leave their children in the car. And it boggles me because like just that moment, again, obviously I'm not a crazy person, but they could have left anything or anyone in their car and the door's unlocked, or even if the door is locked, you know, there's ways to get into a car. But I just thought to myself, something that quick of me thinking this was my car and it wasn't, and I could have gotten in, you know, and dropped, because another thing people don't understand is if you have the same car, so like I drive a Ford Explorer, if you have a Ford Explorer key, that key may not open the door to your car, but it will start your car, because it's the same model car. So I could have hopped in their car and driven it and been at home, you know, with God knows what in the backseat or whoever, and they not known, you know. So it's not only just being mindful of if your children are in the car or if your dog's in the car or whatever you may leave, but also, yeah, lock your door, because you never know. It's not that every time something happens, is it malicious or is it someone trying to like do something bad? I just thought that was my car.
Yeah. Well, I think it's such a good point, Kate, to bring this up. And first and foremost, I mean, it's easy for someone that's never happened to rush to judgment and say, how could you do that? Horrible parent. You said this is some of the most respected people that you could ever be around. This happens to anybody and everybody. And unfortunately, Murphy's Law applies to this. Anything that can happen will happen. And you're right. You got to be mindful. I wonder, I think you especially got to be careful when you drive those really big SUVs that have like the third row. Because for me, I'm always looking in that rearview mirror. I'm always looking. And I see my children all the time when I'm driving. And so I think that helps out a lot because they're right there and I know that they're there, and they don't fall asleep until it's the only time that would be for us, that I know that would be something that, you know, I don't think I'd ever forget them. But the only time that it could possibly happen would be if we were driving somewhere on a weekend and they fall asleep, because they do fall asleep at like 12:30 if they're in the car with us.
Most instances are with babies, the rear-facing seat.
Because they're, see, that makes sense too. Because you got the little one with you, and the baby's asleep usually, and they're not making noise. See, I'm thinking about like my kids wiggling around.
They're not talking and stuff like that. But, Older ones fall asleep too, and you just kind of forget them. But they're forward-facing seats, so you're more likely to see them in the mirror. But most of the instances of when it happens is with babies, rear-facing seats.
Yeah, see, that's good. I did not know. That's what I was kind of thinking. And I encourage parents.
That's why I was like, put a shoe back there, put a stuffed animal in the front, do something so that you have to get in the back seat.
And for me, I'll leave half my brain
Even if
back
you don't
there.
have the child in the car, put it in the back seat so you're in the habit of getting it out of the back seat.
One thing too, if you've got this was a game changer for us. Someone had said if you've got the baby in those rear facing seats, you've got to get one of these mirrors. And so we have we had a mirror with both the children, and it was really neat. And they were only like $10 on Amazon, but you would snap them to the headrest and you could adjust them. Mm-hmm. And so when I looked into the rearview mirror, the baby's face was reflecting to me, and that way that I knew the baby was okay and all that. Did they have those things, years ago?
Nope.
See, it's all these things that we have now. Like when I grew up, we didn't have, they were there, but they weren't required. I never sat in a car seat. I sat in mom's lap.
Yeah.
That was
I'm not sure they existed when I was a baby.
But mirrors, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
I remember growing up sitting in my mom's lap and my dad. We went all the way to that Pearsall town I was telling about. 5 of us in an F-100. It didn't have an extended cab. They only made a limited number of these F-100 trucks. And I remember my dad had the front bench, and that was it. And there was 5 of us in the family. And so think about 5 people, dad driving, brother and sister next to dad, then mom, and me sitting on mom's lap for 3 hours to Pearsall.
I rode in the back of the El Camino behind the seat.
Oh, cool, yeah.
On the floorboard. But no.
The El Camino, the truck car. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
But, back then also seatbelts didn't become mandatory until 1973. And so I remember my dad, before 1973, actually putting seatbelts in the car. Now, I don't remember ever using them when I was, but Dad put them in the seat. Our seatbelt system was Mom doing this.
Yeah.
And you having a bruise maybe across here, but it didn't stop you.
And at that point back in the day when you were at school and a teacher noticed a bruise here, like, oh, I know what it is. It's you almost fell out of the car, no problem.
They're keeping you safe. It's
well,
not
hopefully
that you're
we weren't running around pulling our shirt up saying, look here, look here.
No, my mom used to drive it was a gold Pontiac Sunfire.
Oh,
1998. And I remember being so little, like I rode in the front seat as a small child with the seatbelt on, like I was a grown up. And I remember my feet not coming off of the seat.
Oh,
that's how
cool,
small I was. Like my feet wouldn't go over the edge. And then fast forward some years later, that car was like just sitting kind of in our yard after a while after it had broken down. And I just went out there, just I guess nostalgic vibes, and I sat in the seat and I realized how small those seats actually were. And I was like, how small was I that my feet didn't come off of this seat in this small car? And I was like, just there, no seatbelt, just front seat, just living life, look out the window, like not a care in the world. But we had that good arm seatbelt though, so we were good. And that wasn't really that long ago to think. I mean, I'm young, so I was talking about the year 2000. I was 2 years old.
I remember my grandmother,
maybe 3.
She had an old Chevelle, like Chevy Malibu, and that thing had clips up on the driver and the passenger side. Up on the ceiling, there was clips, and that's where the seat belt was. You still had the lap belt, but if you wanted the shoulder belt, they didn't have the, on the side where it would ratchet back in. I remember it being on a clip, and you had to fold it up on those clips and pull it down and to put it on.
Whoa.
They didn't exist in the cars that I grew up with, shoulder belts at all.
That's just crazy to
I'm
think.
a little older than you guys, so.
See, I remember the oldest seatbelt I can remember is the one, I don't know if y'all remember when they came out with
automatic.
the automatic seatbelt. Yeah. That was the coolest thing to me ever when I was a kid. It's just
Well, hey, let us know you're out there. Many of you are commenting in. Some good Wednesday wisdom this morning. A big thank you to Kay and Tomorrow's Promise. We're going to take a final break because I know you guys got to roll at 8:30. We still have a few minutes. We're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, it's Rick's Top 10 Catfish Edition today. So maybe some of you are going to get so hungry you're going to go over to the Big E's today.
Okay, so it's catfish, and not catfish where somebody's catfishing you on
No, not that kind of catfish. No, none of that catfish. This is like legitimate
food
catfish. today some of you are going to go to the Big E's now, and if you do, let them know you heard about it here on Hello Huntsville, and the Big E's send us a little check. We'll give the majority of it to Kay. So we'll give it to the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library.
Hey, there we go.
We'll take a brief break. Stay with us as we'll close it up. When we come back, we'll also talk about not only the top 10, but some upcoming events. I know Isaiah's been busy working. We want to make sure that we highlight that as well. As always, we are here on this very wonderful Wednesday, brought to you by Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, over 27 years of excellence. More information is online at tomorrowspromise.info. And your final opportunity this morning to text in that keyword,
Heat.
Heat, to 936-339-0139. Text in HEAT along with your name, your chance to win $20 to Cat Cafe. We'll take a brief break. We'll be back in a moment. This is Good Morning Huntsville. Stay with us, please.
At Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, we're not just a place where children pass the time. We're not a daycare. We're a child care center focused on growth, learning, and discovery. Every day, children engage in meaningful activities that build confidence, independence, and a love for learning. From reading and math to social and practical life skills, our students are active participants in their development. Ready to give your child something more? Visit tomorrowspromise.info and discover what makes our school different. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. Education you can trust.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
The spirit of Huntsville, spiritradio.fm.
Well, it's Wednesday. You know what time it is. Although, Kay, we need Isaiah bouncing around on there today. It's time. Bricks. Wait, Kay, you want to do it? wait, hold on, Kay. Here we go. All right, here it goes. Kay's time to shine. Ready?
It's Rick's top 10.
I like that. It's more polite, subtle,
real smooth.
Yeah.
I was gonna do it, sports announcer, broadcaster voice.
Oh, let's hear it.
Oh, like how they used to announce Michael Jordan at the basketball games. Rick's top 10.
There you go, Isaiah.
Oh, man. So today is National Catfish Day. So that's what our top 10 is about. Now, before I say all of this, I would like for everyone to comment in their favorite kind of fish. 'Cause I know some people don't like catfish. Some people more tilapia. Some people more bass fish. Go out and get you some fish today, whichever one. But the fish of the day is catfish. Number 10 reason to celebrate National Catfish Day is that finally a holiday where the bottom feeders get celebrated. Not Congress, the actual catfish.
Good one.
Number 9, it gives you a guilt-free excuse to tell people you're just chilling in the mud.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. That's more for Crawfish Day.
You ever went on one of those
catfish are
mud
the
spa days, Kay? You know, the mud ones? You ever been to one of those?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I've been chilling in the mud, dude.
I've never understood the purpose of the mud in the spa. Like, what is it? I don't know. What does it do for you? I don't know. Number 8, Way. It's the one day a year where Grandpa's fish tales are considered historical documents. I know my grandpa would have loved a day like Catfish Day. He'd have just thought it was an excuse to be out on the boat all day. Number 7, Way. Reason to celebrate National Catfish Day is because deep frying something that used to live in a river is oddly therapeutic. I can get behind that one. That may not be untrue.
Depends on what river and how bad the river stinks. Some rivers got that stink to them.
A little bit of hot grease will wash away any stink. Oh, man. Number 6, Way. Because let's be honest, Tilapia Day just doesn't have the same ring to it. You know, it does. But if your favorite fish is tilapia, then hey, more power to you. Number 5, top 5, a rare opportunity to celebrate a creature that looks like a fish but sounds like a southern insult. And then in parentheses, it has an example. You old catfish.
Yeah.
I don't know if someone's ever called me a catfish.
Whenever you see Rick later today, Kay, call him, say, "You old catfish," and just see, and then report back to us. All right.
Just see just let us know his reaction. Number 4, without catfish, reality TV producers would have nothing to air on Tuesdays. So that's the other kind of catfish.
Yeah, that's what Kay was talking about. Yeah.
Man, I remember the time when that term came to life. It's weird. Number 3, sorry. It's a solid reminder that whiskers aren't just for cats and confused hipsters. That's funny. Number 2, honoring the only fish that can survive in murky waters and a Facebook relationship.
There you go.
Now we're getting to them. Number 1, the number 1 reason to celebrate National Catfish Day, because nothing says America like beer, battered cornmeal, and something that just tried to bite your toe.
There you go. Rick's Top 10, brought to you by Isaiah Berry today. Good job, Isaiah. National Catfish Day. Kay, are you going to celebrate it today? National Cat. Are you a catfisher?
Yes, I do like catfish.
I turned that into a verb. Are you a catfisher?
Be careful, MTV is going to show up at any moment.
I haven't been to Big E's in a while. They got good catfish. You know, you get that all-you-can-eat catfish over there.
Yeah, they had some nice fried shrimp, too.
Is there? There's nowhere else in Huntsville to get catfish. I mean, besides like in
Chicken Express.
That's it. Yes.
Chicken Express has good fish. That's fast
right.
food, but it's pretty good.
Bridget and I usually go and we'll get the chicken strips. I'm not a big fan of bone chicken. You know, I like the chicken that's just the chicken strips, the tenders.
Just chicken. Mm-hmm.
Makes it easier to eat. And one day, Bridget said, "I'm craving some catfish." And we got it at You're right. And we got that. And every time we went since, we get the catfish at Chicken Express. It's really good.
It's really good. One day I just tried it, and I don't think I've ever gone back. You know, occasionally I still go for the chicken tenders, but the catfish is that's a splurge day type of a meal.
Well, for lunch, we both have a meeting at the Lunch and Learn to learn about SEOs.
SEO.
Oh, yeah, that's today, right?
Yeah.
Karen Altum's doing that with the chamber, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's head over to the phone line. We have a winner today. Isaiah, you want to do this call?
Yeah, let's get into it.
I'm very excited.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the line with Hello Huntsville. Who am I speaking with?
This is Courtney.
Well, Courtney, I'm sad to regret to tell you this, but you are a winner today.
Wow.
Congratulations.
I'm so excited. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're winning a gift certificate to Cat Cafe.
And don't get confused, not Catfish Cafe, because we've been talking about catfish, Courtney, all right?
Just regular Cat Cafe, but great pastries and coffee.
I've been listening to y'all.
Who is it? Courtney who? Courtney who is Courtney who? What's your last name, Courtney?
Courtney Looper.
Oh, Courtney
That's what
Looper.
I thought.
Well, how long did it take me to ask you for your last name? I should have said, "What's your last name, Courtney?" I was like, "Courtney who? Courtney who? What's your last name, Courtney?" It took about 30 seconds.
Say her first name 5 times to get to the last name.
Are you working right now, Courtney?
I'm on my way to work, yes.
Ah, where do you work at?
Veribank.
Oh, that's right.
At Veribank.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've texted in. Yeah, it's been a while since you've texted in, Courtney.
Yeah, it has been. I've been missing y'all.
Well, congratulations, $20 to Cat Cafe today. We'll let you drive. We know you're busy. But Miss K has a very quick question for you, Courtney.
What are you thankful for today?
Okay. I am thankful. Y'all asked me this last time, and like 100 things came to mind all at the same time. Today, I'm thankful for my health.
It's a great thing to be thankful
yes.
for.
That is, yeah.
And being a healthy person, because we have a family friend right now who's going through some very serious health issues, and I'm very thankful that I'm a healthy person today.
Yeah, well, amen to that. Well, Courtney, God bless you. Thank you for watching on a special Wednesday with Tomorrow's Promise, and $20 to Cat Cafe. Have you been over there before?
I have not, so I'm super excited to go try it out.
Yeah, they got coffee, all sorts of snacks. I mean, everything, and it's really good. It's right over there next to Will Durham's office, right across the street on
It's
the
an
side.
old courthouse jail.
Yeah, the old court. That's easier to describe. Yeah, the old courthouse jail over there. So, all right. Well, hey, have a blessed day. Oh, hey, have a blessed day. All right, Courtney.
All right, y'all too.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I think we're on internet delay today because, I use a voice. You ever been on the phone with somebody and you keep interrupting, you're trying to talk, and then you wait, and there's a delay. That's kind of what was happening today on our voice over IP system.
The moment you tried to speak is the moment that they heard what you said before they had just heard what you said.
Well, there it is. A fun show today. Kay, any final comments? I know you got to get rolling. So, anything else today?
Just be mindful and make sure you keep your cars locked. And thankfully, the child that crawled in my car had just crawled in the car, and the mom was looking for him.
Did you know? Did they know, or did you know the child or the parent or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say if it happened and you didn't know him, what are you doing to my child? That would keep your cars locked. That's the whole key, and be mindful of your children back there. So, and also if you drive a '99 Pontiac Sunfire, make sure you have a car seat these days. Back in '99, it was okay.
Yes, yeah. In the year 2000, we didn't believe in car seats, but.
Hey, real quick, I know we've got to go, but real quick, I know you've been working on a couple of events for Tomorrow's Promise, so let us know kind of what's been cooking, man.
Yeah, so as always, September 13th to the second Saturday in September, we're holding our annual Lasso Your Imagination barbecue dinner. You can reach out to me at marketing@tpms.life.
We're going to have boudin, too.
Yes, it's this year. So this year we've gone above and beyond. It's not just your usual barbecue dinner and auction. We have more barbecue, more options for you. We're having boudin, brisket, pulled pork, the whole 10, potato salad. Great big menu for you to choose from. We're also having our bake sale, our silent auction, our live auction. So many ways for you and your family to come out and have fun and enjoy us and support a good cause. Second thing, we're also rolling out, it's called a Taste Pass, a Taste of Huntsville. So different restaurants here around town will offer small discounts or maybe some free samples or things like that to go along with the Taste Pass. And then you as a customer, just a civilian in Huntsville, or even if someone's not from Huntsville and they just want to know what's the scenery like for the food here, or what's the best place to go out and eat, they can purchase a Taste Pass and then go and use it to get all of these free samples and discounts and things like that from businesses. So great way to get people into your business if you are one of the businesses that wants to decide to be a part of the Taste Pass, and then a great way if you're just a consumer to come out and see what we have here in Huntsville, to eat, maybe find a new place to eat or be introduced to somewhere you haven't been before. So
love it.
Again, you can reach out to me if you'd like to purchase a Taste Pass. Reach out to me at marketing@tpms.life. Or if you'd like to be a member of the Taste Pass, if you have a restaurant here in town and you'd like to offer a discount to be featured on the card, you can also call us at 936-435-0303. Same info goes for if you would like to donate to the Lasso Your Imagination event, if you'd like to sponsor a table, or just come out and get a ticket, come out and bring the family. So,
well, I'll tell you that Lasso Your Imagination event, Kay, was so wonderful last year. I know the prior year I had some sort of horrible disease on my feet and spots everywhere, and it was terrible. But luckily that's out of my system now. It's been out for a couple of years. But got to MC last year and loved it. And I wanted to compliment y'all, and I know Justin Killingsworth helped with this too, and I believe Tony came out and helped. But there's a ton of events that happen at the fairgrounds. That was the best decorated event that I have ever been to. You didn't, and no offense to the fairgrounds, beautiful place out there. It's a great place to have events, but you didn't feel like you were at the fairgrounds. It was done so well. I loved how it looked last year.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the fairgrounds when we get done.
No, it's awesome. So all of this goes to support the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. Over 1,050 children, is that right, now receiving books
a month.
every single month. And, that takes $35,000+ to make that happen. That's what these events go to support. And thank you, Kay, for always bringing that literacy to our community. We're still getting books, and we're still going to get them for several more years. So thank you. All right, well, that'll wrap it up. I know you got to go. You got to go. I got to go. Everybody's got to go. I got to take my dog to the vet. So say a prayer for him. Unfortunately, these little bumps are back, and so I've got to go get him checked out today. And we're just going to continue loving him as long as he's here. And that's my inspiration to you, your family, your friends, those that are around you. Love them as much as you can as long as they're here, because one day not going to be here anymore. And so love on people while you can. And if you've got some little skirmish with somebody that's minute over something that was mundane years ago, pick up the phone today and call that person and say, you know what, I'm sorry, and reconcile. Today is the day of reconciliation on National Catfish Day. You can go reconcile over some catfish, right?
Yeah, take them out for some catfish.
Well, that'll wrap it up. We'll be back tomorrow. Jason Bay, First Baptist, here with us. And then, of course, Billy will be with us to wrap up the week, along with Terry Coleman on Friday. We appreciate you. More information for Tomorrow's Promise is online at tomorrowspromise.info. I highly recommend get your children enrolled. You can go take a tour. Charlotte's over at the Academy. 2 other locations along with the Academy as well. You can tour all of them and get your child enrolled today. Again, more information is online, tomorrowspromise.info. For Miss Kay and also Isaiah, I almost said Mr. Isaiah. You know,
that's fine. That's what the students call me.
Next, when Rick's back, I'll say for Miss Kay and Mr. Rick. He'll really like that. I'm Rob Hipp, reminding you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We're really not. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. I promise somebody out there this morning needs you. Until tomorrow at 7:30, good morning, Huntsville, and God bless. We'll see you all next time. See ya, Kay and Isaiah.
Have a good day.